Shedeur Sanders showed up day one. The others didn't. That says everything.
Is there going to be a quarterback competition, or is he going to name a QB1? And when will that decision be made? Like, not until after OTAs?
Yeah, until he sees Watson and Shedeur, for that matter. He's got to hand them his playbook and see how they digest it. That's part of it too, especially that position. Monken hasn't been through this with Shedeur and Gabriel and Watson, for that matter. So I don't think we're going to hear that, Riz, until even the conclusion of minicamp. I mean, at the start of training camp.
Maybe.
Yeah.
He'll be ready to. Or which would you prefer, Tone? The competition, or would you rather have a starter named and go from there?
Oh, I think in this case, it's I don't like competitions, but it should be a competition.
Tone, even I, who love Shedeur, I want to see him win the job.
Yeah.
I do.
The Browns.
I like that Mel is up here because he'll like my answer, I think. I was talking at the league meetings with Todd Monken, and I asked him about who was there in the building and made some news on Twitter and obviously moved the needle. Shedeur Sanders has been present. He has been there. Dylan Gabriel has not. Deshaun Watson was there early, has not been the last few weeks. But Shedeur Sanders has made a decision to be in Cleveland, to be in Berea, to spend this offseason around the new coaching staff, learning the new offense. Now, you can't actually throw. You can't actually do anything. It's against CBA rules. But for everything he possibly could have done this offseason, Shedeur Sanders has done it to make a good impression.
A fifth-round pick, number 144, a guy nobody wanted, a guy who sat at home watching the draft slip and slip and slip past him, round after round after round. And now, that same kid is walking into Cleveland Browns headquarters, day one of off-season workouts, before the veterans, before the starters, before anyone, and telling the world, this is my team. Meanwhile, the man who was handed a fully guaranteed $230 million, the man this franchise gave up 3 first-round picks for, hasn't played a single regular season snap in over a year and a half. So let me ask you the most uncomfortable question in the NFL right now. Who actually deserves to be the starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns? The $230 million man, or the kid nobody believed in? Stay with me, because what's happening in Cleveland right now is one of the greatest stories in NFL history, and it's happening right now.
I do think now it's going to be Shedeur and a vet next year. Maybe they can somehow get Kirk Cousins away from the Falcons, and then you let Kirk and Shedeur kind of battle it out in camp next year, that kind of thing. I'm perfectly fine now with this. Just give the guy the keys for this coming week for the last game, and give him the offseason to prepare as a starter and build an offense around him. And then let's just see what he can do next year. Because if he's good, if he hits the ceiling that we all think he has, the Browns' new window is open much sooner than what it could be, because now you got a 5th-round rookie deal playing quarterback, and you'll have Deshaun off the books in a year.
Well, let's not forget, too, like the name you just said, that vet next year with him will be Deshaun Watson. Maybe they bring in somebody else, but Deshaun Watson will be on this active roster. He will be on the quarterback depth chart. So maybe they just roll in saying it's Shedeur and Deshaun and Dylan, I guess, because we got him for a third. We can't sell him for anything. Nobody wants him because, they saw the tape. That's our quarterback room, which I'm totally cool with. Shedeur said after the Raiders game, imagine what I could do. Imagine what it could be like with an offseason to prepare and to be ready for, the season. I want to see that too.
And Shedeur Sanders, Deshaun Watson being the giant wild card. We have no idea what we're going to get. He's basically been off the radar and out of football for the last year and a half. And then Shedeur Sanders, who showed flashes last year, but the team investment is just a 5th-round pick. It's not like they're paying him like Deshaun Watson is being paid, and it's not like they gave up what they had to give up to get Deshaun Watson. A fascinating dichotomy of 2 different guys and a head coach who I think is going to give the ball to the best man suitable for the job.
Yeah, Watson thrown with some of the receivers in Florida. It should be noted, Mel, they got a couple of first-round picks in play. What should their plans be?
Let's go back to April 2025, NFL Draft Night. Shedeur Sanders, son of football legend Deion Sanders, was supposed to be a top 5 pick. Mock drafts had him going in the first round. Some analysts had him as the number 1 quarterback in the entire class. But round 1 passed, round 2, round 3, round 4, and then silence. Can you imagine sitting in that room, your father next to you, the cameras on your face, round after round, your name not being called, players you practiced against, players you knew you were better than, going before you? Then finally, in the 5th round, pick 144, the Cleveland Browns selected Shedeur Sanders. 144th. Not first, not in the top 100, 144th. Most players picked that late never see the field. They become practice squad guys. They get cut in August and nobody remembers their name. But Shedeur Sanders, he didn't accept that story. Here's what makes this even crazier. When Shedeur showed up to training camp in Cleveland, he wasn't even second on the depth chart. He wasn't third. He was 4th, behind Joe Flacco, behind Kenny Pickett, behind Dylan Gabriel. 4th on a team that was already struggling, a team that needed a quarterback desperately. And then, an oblique injury in August wiped out his entire preseason. No snaps, no reps, no film, just watching from the sideline while other quarterbacks took the job he came here to compete for. The Browns were a disaster. Week after week, the offense sputtered. Fans were frustrated. The coaching staff was scrambling. Then, in Week 11, against the Baltimore Ravens, one of the most ferocious defenses in football, the Browns finally said, "Okay, Shedeur, you're up." His debut was brutal. The Ravens blitzed him relentlessly. He finished with just 47 passing yards and an interception. Social media lit up. Analysts questioned whether he was even an NFL-caliber quarterback. But Shedeur Sanders didn't quit. He kept starting. Week 12, Week 13, Week 14, Week 15, Week 16, Week 17. 7 starts total as a rookie. A rookie who had 0 preseason reps, 0 first-team practice time all summer, and was playing behind one of the weakest offensive lines in football. And you know what happened? He showed flashes, real ones. According to analysts covering the team closely, his connection with young tight end Harold Fannin Jr. became the most reliable and productive relationship in Cleveland's entire offense. He threw a beautiful deep ball to Jerry Jeudy, dropped. A would-be touchdown turned into an interception because a receiver couldn't hold on. The kid was playing with no weapons, no protection, and no help, and he was still competing.
Watson was there early, has not been the last few weeks. But Shedeur Sanders has made the decision to be in Cleveland, to be in Berea, to spend this offseason around the new coaching staff, learning the new offense. Now, you can't actually throw. You can't actually do anything. It's against CBA rules. But for everything he possibly could have done this offseason, Shedeur Sanders has done it to make a good impression. That said, I think it's an open competition between those two men. Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders. Deshaun Watson being the giant wild card. We have no idea what we're going to get. He's basically been off the radar and out of football for the last year.
Now let's talk about the other guy, Deshaun Watson. Once one of the most electric quarterbacks in the entire NFL. In 2020 with the Houston Texans, he led the entire league in passing yards, 3 Pro Bowls, highlight plays that made your jaw drop. Then came the blockbuster trade. In 2022, the Cleveland Browns gave up 3 first-round picks and handed Watson the largest fully guaranteed contract in NFL history, $230 million. Every single dollar. Guaranteed. It was supposed to be the trade that saved the franchise. Instead, it became one of the most painful mistakes in NFL history. Since signing that contract, Deshaun Watson has played in just 19 games. 19 out of a possible 68. He missed time for a suspension, then a shoulder injury, then an Achilles tear. Then he re-ruptured the same Achilles and missed the entire 2025 season. The entire season. 0 games. 0 snaps. When he has played, the numbers tell a painful story. A 9-10 record as a starter, an 80.7 passer rating, and an offense that couldn't score more than 20 points in any of his 2024 starts before going down again. Browns owner Jimmy Haslam himself called the Watson trade a big swing and miss. Those are the owner's own words about his own $230 million quarterback. So here we are, April 2026. The Cleveland Browns just kicked off their voluntary offseason workout program. And this is where the story gets electric. According to the NFL Live broadcast and sources close to the team, Shedeur Sanders showed up on day one. He was there, in the building, in Berea, Ohio, learning the new offense under first-year head coach Todd Monken. Now here's the thing. During voluntary workouts, players can't throw, they can't run routes. CBA rules prevent actual football activity. But Shedeur was there, building relationships, learning the playbook, making an impression on the new coaching staff. Meanwhile, Watson showed up early in the week and then wasn't seen the last few days. He was spotted throwing with some receivers in Florida, which is great, but the contrast in commitment is glaring. ESPN analyst Dan Graziano said it plainly. Sanders is the most likely starter for the Browns when Week 1 kicks off. NFL insider Zach Jackson of The Athletic says he feels stronger than ever that Sanders wins this job. NFL analyst Tim Hasselbeck, who just weeks ago questioned whether Sanders could even hold a backup job in this league, completely reversed his opinion and said, "I really don't think Watson has a shot." Todd Monken, the new head coach, has publicly kept it an open competition, but the internal signals are all pointing in one direction. Browns legend Hanford Dixon, one of the greatest players in franchise history, went on a podcast and said it without hesitation. Deshaun Watson hasn't done a damn thing for this football team. Let's face it, it's got to be Shedeur's job to lose.
Shoulder pads intercepted. So instead of a touchdown pass, it's an interception. Had several of those this year. Some unfortunate plays that didn't go their way because of drops. Harold Fannin Jr., young tight end, became the most dependable, reliable option for Shedeur throughout the season once he took over. You think about Jordan Tyson, what a great talent he is. He is a beast. I know about the durability concerns, but hey, what are you going to do? Hey, once you get in the NFL, you may never have another injury. Carnell Tate, what does he do? He catches everything thrown his way. And you got Mekhi Lemon. You got three receivers. Mekhi Lemon plays fierce. Love the kid.
Let me give you 3 reasons why Shedeur Sanders wins this quarterback competition. Number 1, momentum. He's already been there. He's already taken 7 NFL starts under the worst conditions imaginable. He knows what it feels like to get hit by an NFL defense. He's past the shock. He's in learning mode. Watson, on the other hand, hasn't played a competitive NFL snap in a year and a half. Nobody, not the coaches, not the GM, not the owner, knows what version of Deshaun Watson shows up. Number 2, the future. Shedeur Sanders is 24 years old. He's under contract for 3 more seasons. Watson is in the final year of his deal. If the Browns start Watson and it doesn't work, they've wasted another year. If they develop Shedeur and he shows growth, they've potentially found their franchise quarterback for the next decade. And number 3, the investment is already sunk. GM Andrew Berry and coach Todd Monken both said publicly, every quarterback will compete. Watson's $230 million price tag is already spent. That money is gone whether Watson starts or sits. The question isn't about money anymore. It's about who gives the Cleveland Browns the best chance to win. And right now, every insider, every analyst, every voice around this team is saying the same name, Shedeur Sanders. Here's what I want you to think about. This kid was told by the entire NFL that he wasn't good enough. He slid to pick 144. He sat 4th on a depth chart. He played his first NFL game with basically 0 preparation. And instead of going home, instead of complaining, instead of making excuses, he showed up on day 1 of voluntary workouts when he didn't have to. He's in the building. He's learning. He's grinding. That's not just a football story. That's a life story. Cleveland hasn't had a franchise quarterback since, well, arguably ever. Browns fans have suffered through decades of heartbreak, and right now, in that building in Berea, Ohio, there's a 24-year-old kid who might just be the answer they've been waiting for. The question is, will the Browns have the courage to give him the chance he deserves? And here's the question I want you to answer in the comments right now. If you were Todd Monken, would you start Shedeur Sanders Week 1, or do you give Deshaun Watson one last shot at his $230 million career? Drop your answer below. I read every single comment. And if you believe in Shedeur Sanders, if you believe in underdogs, in grinders, in the kids who refuse to quit, smash that subscribe button right now, because we're going to follow this story all the way to Week 1. And I promise you, this is just getting started. See you in the next one.